Root, a part of the body of a plant that develops, typically, from the radicle and grows downward into the soil, anchoring the plant and absorbing nutriment and moisture, the part of a vascular plant normally underground. Its primary functions are anchorage of the plant, absorption of water and dissolved minerals and conduction of these to the stem, and storage of reserve foods. General characters: A. Roots are non-green, underground, jor, geotropic, phototropic and jor, hydrotropic. B. Roots do not bear buds. C. Buds present for vegetative propagation in sweet potato, Ipomea, and Indian redwood, Dalbergia. D. Roots do not bear nodes and internodes. F. Roots have unicellular root hairs. How does a root work? The root system of a plant constantly provides the stems and leaves with water and dissolved minerals. In order to accomplish this, the roots must grow into new regions of the soil. The growth and metabolism of the plant root system is supported by the process of photosynthesis occurring in the leaves. Types of roots. Roots are of two types. A. Taproot. B. Adventitious root. Taproot. These are plants with typically one central large root called taproot, and other smaller roots growing out of this one. Plants with taproots are, for example, dandelion, parsley, turnip and carrots. It develops from radicle and made up of one main branch and other sub-branches. The primary roots in its branches constitute taproot system. A. Dicot roots. Adventitious roots. In some plants, after some time of the growth of taproot which arises from radicle, stops and then roots, develop from other part of plant, which are branched or unbranched, fibrous or storage, are known as adventitious roots and constitute fibrous root system. A. Monocot roots. Regions of roots. Root consist of four major zones: root cap, meristematic zone, zone of cell elongation and maturation zone. Root cap. Root cap, also known as calyptra due to its origin from calyptrogen isocap-like structure made up of thin-walled cells that covers the root apex. It is made of dead cells and protects the young growing cells of the apical region. It is absent in hydrophytes, epiphytes, parasites and mycorrhiza. Meristematic zone. It is present just above the root cap. It is made up of compactly arranged small, thin-walled isodiametric and meristematic cells having dense protoplasm and large nucleus. The cells of this region are in active state of division, and so this is the main growing region of the root. Zone of cell elongation. The region of cell elongation is present above the meristematic zone, resulting in an increase in length of the root. The external cells of this region possess power of absorption of water and mineral salts from the soil. Maturation zone. Maturation zone is present above the zone of cell elongation. Secondary growth takes place in this region. Region of maturation zone is the area of lateral roots. Its only function is to anchor the plant firmly in the soil. Unicellular and ephemeral root hairs are formed from the epidermal cells in this zone. Root hairs helps in absorption of water. Root hairs are absent in all the plants where there are no root caps. Modification of roots. Tap and adventitious roots are modified in different forms to perform special functions and are called as modified roots. Modification of tap roots. Taproot are modified for food storage and respiration. Modified taproot for storage. Fusiform roots. These roots are thicker in the middle and tapered on both ends. In this type of roots, both hypocotyl and root help in storage of food. A. Radish. Conical roots. These roots are thicker at their upper side and tapering at basal end, e.g. Carrot. Napiform. These roots become swollen and spherical at upper end and tapered like a thread at their lower end, e.g. Turnip, brassica, wrapper, sugar beet. Tuberous root. Such roots do not have regular shape and get swollen or fleshy at any portion of roots, e.g. Mirabilis. Nodulated root. Nodules are formed on branches of roots by nitrogen-fixing bacteria, rhizobium, e.g. Plants of Leguminosae family, Papilionotype. Modified taproot for respiration are pneumatophores. Halophyte or mangrove grow in oxygen-deficient marshy area. Some branches of taproot in these plants grow vertically or comes out from soil. These roots are called pneumatophores through which air entered inside the plant, e.g. Rhizophora, Heritier, Sonaratia and other mangrove plant. Modification of adventitious roots. 1. Storage adventitious roots. A. Tuberous root. When food is stored in these roots, they become swollen and form a bunch, e.g. sweet potato, Ipomea batata. B. Fasciculated roots arise in bunch cluster from lower node of the stem and become fleshy, e.g. Dahlia, asparagus, seed nodules. In this type, tips of roots swell up, e.g. Melilotus, Curcuma amoda. Beaded or moniliform, when root swells up like a bead at different places after a regular interval. Egg. Vitis, Momodica, bitter gourd Potulaceae. D. Annulated, roots having series of ring-like swellings e.g. Psychrotia. Point 2. Stilt roots or brace roots. When root arises from lower nodes and enter in soil obliquely, known as stilt roots e.g. maize, sugarcane, pandanus, screwpine. 3. Prop root or pillar roots. When root arises from branches of plant and grows downward towards soil. It functions as supporting stem for the plant, e.g. banyan, char, butteress root. Such roots appear from the basal part of stem and spread in different directions in the soil, e.g. Ficus, bombux, terminalia. It is a characteristic feature of tropical rainforest. Point 5. Climbing roots. These roots arise from nodes and helps the plant in climbing, e.g. money plant, pothos beetle, black pepper, tecoma. Point 6. Foliar roots or epiphyllous roots. When roots arise from leaves, they are called as foliar roots, e.g. bryophyllum, bignonia. 7. Sucking or hostorial roots or parasitic roots. In parasitic plant, roots enter in the stem of host plant to absorb nutrition from host. Egg. Dendrophtho, viscum. Point 8. Assimilatory roots. The aerial roots of Tinospora and submerged roots of Trapa water chestnut become green and synthesize food. Podostemon also has green assimilatory roots. No. Hygroscopic roots. These are found in epiphytes, especially in orchids, and help in absorption of moisture from the atmosphere using special tissue called velamen, e.g. orchids, banda. Thus, contractile roots. They shrink 60–70% of the original length and bring underground organ at proper depth in the soil, e.g. core of crocus, saffron, freesia. 11. Root thorns. These are hard, thick and pointed thorns, e.g. Pothos armatus. Reproductive roots. These are fleshy, adventitious roots used for vegetative reproduction, e.g. sweet potato, ipomi, batata, dahlia. Leaf roots. In Salvinia, one leaf of each node modifies into root-like structure for balancing the plant in water. Functions of root. Following are the important function of root. Roots perform various functions that are necessary for the survival of the plants. They are an integral or integrated system that helps the plant in anchoring. Roots are the reason plants remain attached to the ground. They support the plant body, ensuring that it stands erect. Absorption. Primary function of roots is to absorb water and dissolve minerals from the soil. This is crucial as it helps in the process of photosynthesis. Storage. Plants prepares food and store in the form of starch in the leaves, shoots and roots. Prominent examples include carrots, radish, beetroot, etc. Reproduction. Even though roots are not the reproductive part of plants, they are vegetative parts. In some plants, roots are means of reproduction. For instance, new plants arise from creeping horizontal stems called runners, stolons, in jasmine, grass, etc. This type of reproduction is called vegetative propagation. Ecological function. They check soil erosion, provide sustenance and also habitat to various organisms.